Hey everyone, if you can believe it, 2022 is half over already. That means we're getting even closer to Payday 3, which is finally due for release next year. As we get closer, I thought it would be a good idea to sit down and share some of what I would like to see most. So here we go, from least to most important, here's my Payday 3 wishlist. Number 12, mod support. I know this would be way higher on the list for most people, but personally I'm just not a huge modding guy. However, I recognize the modding scene for Payday is absolutely huge, hi Matt, and moving to Unreal it'll be so much easier to create or implement mods, so official support would be a great boon. The wackier people can get with their content, the better. Number 11. Better driving. Driving in Payday 2 can be kind of rough. I'd love to see it smooth out a bit if it returns in Payday 3. Control responsiveness and accurate hitboxes are the big areas that I think need iterating going into the next game. Number 10. Do the SOKOL thing. SOKOL has the most potential of any heister. He was single-handedly robbing casinos, which is notoriously difficult to do. He is such a giant, galaxy-encompassing Giga-Chad brain that he designed a giant plasma cutter that had Bane super impressed. Of all the post-launch first-party heisters besides Hoxton, SOKOL is the only one to come from a primarily heisting background, and Bane even believed he would take over leading the Payday gang after Dallas. Now, the first roster reveal for Payday 3 is the OG lineup. I love those dudes, perfectly happy to have them back. That being said, instead of taking the time to recast Wolf, maybe we just, yeah, like that. I don't know, I've always liked SOKOL, and I would just love to see them pull the trigger on growing him into the super criminal leader that they've always told us he one day would be. Number 9. On-map advantages. For this, I mean things like the SHATTER and Ukrainian job, but not as an asset. To expand on this as an example, imagine if you had to find a note with the SHATTER code hidden in the heist, but it was never acknowledged by Locke or whoever is giving the contract. It's an extra tactical advantage to make things a bit easier for heisters who take the time to explore and find resources. The closest I can think of in Payday 2 is finding and using keycards on Slaughterhouse to block off spawn doors. Number 8. Distraction items. The stealth system in Payday 2 hasn't had the best reception as a whole throughout its life. Something I think would help out is an item similar to Agent 47's coins in the Hitman games that you could throw to distract guards. Currently, there are some on-map props you can use for distractions, like the car alarms on Shadow Raid, the hand dryers on Art Gallery, or the basement TV on the Alesso heist. You can break cameras or place drills, but you have no control over which guards those things attract, and then you have to sit and babysit them. It would be great to have a tool you could bring to any heists for an easy reposition without the cost of a pager. Number 7. More synchronous objective heists. In my humblest of opinions, a loud run of Golden Grin Casino has some of the best objective flow in Payday 2. Here's how it goes. You get in, throw down some C4, find some fireworks, light them to call the blimp, hack the skylight barrier, build a winch, and pull down the drill. Then you enter the vault, loot it, and get out. Here's the thing that makes Golden Grin unique. You can do all of that prior to pulling down the drill at the same time. You can cut so much time off a run by sending one person to do C4, one to do skylights, and one to do fireworks. It's great design because it perfectly fulfills the Payday fantasy. It rewards players who know the heist, have a plan, and execute it as fast as possible. It's awesome. More tricks like that would be hugely welcome in Payday 3. Number 6. Enhanced player movement. Don't get me wrong, I love zipping and zooming around Payday 2 with the dodge build. But every so often, my AI heisters rappel down from a building or a long ledge, and I think, I sure would like to do that. I'd understand if it wasn't all the time, perhaps have the rappel be, a long cooldown or a skill you could get. AI heisters also climb up some ledges and balconies. I'm not asking for a full parkour system or anything, but ledge mantling at the very least has become pretty standard in most shooters, and it would be awesome to have in Payday 3. I'd also love to have a slide to quickly stay low or avoid gunfire. Sliding's just super fun, and a lot of games are starting to have that as well. Lastly, and if I could only have one of these movement options, it would be this. Let me lean side to side. It would be great for poking out of cover for some quick shots on higher difficulties, and if leaning around a corner also gave reduced detection speed, it would be fantastic for stealth. Far too many stealth rounds have been game-ended by a guard coming around a corner right as the situation required I just face check it and turn that corner to proceed with the heist. Number 5. The networking. This is a controversial opinion, I'm sure, but keep Payday 3 peer-to-peer. Just add host migration. My main concern from this comes from the always online requirements of dedicated servers. Some people just have poor internet access and like to play offline. Alternatively, one day, no matter what, servers go down. Preservation of the art and the game is important. Additionally, I'm also thinking back to Overkill's The Walking Dead. For that game's entire lifespan, the game would go offline for a few hours every Tuesday when Steam went down for maintenance. It's very important to me that Payday 3 remains playable long after support ends. Peer-to-peer, at least as an option, is crucial. Number 4. Better AI for teammates. Far too many times I've been downed, and the AI just walks back and forth without coming to help me up. Or if I get cloaker kicked, they'll just revive me without killing him, only to be cloaked themselves. Sometimes they'll just be vibing all the way across the map, and don't even get me started on their favorite pastime of standing in front of SWAT turrets until they're all downed. When I'm needing to rely on the AI, I feel myself in suspense waiting to see if they will actually work correctly, and not getting ready to get back in the fight after they perform their functions. They need to improve for Payday 3 to at least consistently meet expectations or raise the expectations above. Yeah, they might work sometimes, maybe. Number 3. Keep the build systems. The absolute best thing about Payday 2 is the way you can mix and match whatever skills, perk decks, heisters, weapons, mods, and now clothing items that you like. It creates so much variety in the way you play and the way you look. I think a huge part of Payday 2's longevity comes from that. So please expand and iterate on those things. Please do not copy the Raid World War II progression system of just eventually unlocking an entire skill tree and linear weapon upgrades, and then just assigning a character to that as a save slot. Please also do not copy Overkill's The Walking Dead system of each character just having a predetermined skill tree. Just let Payday 3 keep doing what Payday 2 is already doing really, really well. Number 2. Improved heister voice acting. Now I don't mean actor performance, those were all good. Sorry, those were mostly good. I have a few issues with Payday 2 voice acting that I would hope to see resolved or avoided entirely in the next game. Firstly, heisters are just inconsistent. Not counting tutorials, there are currently 81 heists in Payday 2, with more on the way as Texas Heat continues. Of those 81, 74 have some form of loot bags. Only in about 15 or 16 heists do heisters actually react when police steal those loot bags. Yes, I went through and counted for this video. The same can be said for their lock-picking voice lines or when a computer hack is interrupted. They play on very few heists, but there's no reason for them to not be used anytime these objectives are completed. Same with SWAT van turrets arriving, police helicopters flying in, alarms ringing, or even just returning to objectives after an assault wave ends. Super common occurrences that all have unique voice lines that play only in a small handful of heists. Having all of these lines but rarely ever implementing them frustrates me when they do appear, because it just reminds me that they aren't used the rest of the time they could and should trigger. To speak further about consistency, only the 4 launch heisters, Dallas, Houston, Wolf, and Chains, have voice lines when they finish repairing a drill, which all the other heisters are missing. Of course, beyond that is the elephant in the room. Heister callouts. Here's a chart I made. The names down the left side is the heister speaking, and the names across the top is who they're calling. As you can see, Joy is the only heister that can name everybody in the gang. I know the situation with Wolf couldn't have been predicted, so I give that a pass. Beyond that, it really bothers me that almost nobody has lines for the last 5 heisters, especially since several heisters came in to record lines for multiple heist intros in 2018, but still didn't acknowledge the later characters. They don't even have lines for Duke, who they had a conversation with in those heist intros. jacket isn't finished, and he's already a composite of multiple cassette tapes. Literally anybody can do that. Hell, and this is a genuine offer. Give me $20 and I will do it. I just want to see him finished. It's clear at this point that there's no intent to go back and finish callouts for all the heisters, and that really sucks, because Payday 2 will objectively never be a finished game as a result. To avoid that in Payday 3, I would rather have fewer heisters if that's the price to pay for having them released and better maintained across the board. It's unrealistic, but I'd love it if heisters weren't released until everybody had lines recorded to call them. Also, please just stop with celebrity guest heisters. They've never been updated, and just bring the whole thing down. Number 1. Bring back the Shatter. This isn't a joke, this is unironically the thing I want most in Payday 3. If it's here, instant 10 out of 10 game of the year, all year, every year. Now let me explain what I mean by the Shatter. In Payday 2, if you get a headshot kill, the enemy's helmet might pop in the air. You know, keep those helmets flying and all. All the way back in Payday the Heist, however, if you got a headshot, you would hear and see the glass visor shatter as the helmet broke. It added extra impact to your shots and felt great to land. Payday 2 has better gunplay and weapon sounds, but Payday the Heist shots felt more satisfying to land. If Payday 3 could combine the best from both of these, I would never, ever set that game down. And that about concludes my list of things I want in Payday 3. I hope you enjoyed it, and again, this is just things I personally want to see, not things I think objectively have to be there. If you have anything you're really hoping to see that I didn't cover, let me know in the comments below. You can also join our Discord server for updates on when we're streaming, doing giveaways, or releasing new videos like this one. Until next time, don't forget to spread that happy and stay rusty.